Since you started giving interviews for the new album, what is the question you've heard most often?
Well, basically, I haven't had that many interviews. This is my first
really?
day of the promotion.
Okay.
And I did a couple of interviews with Spanish, Italian. Yeah, I did like 10 now.
Okay.
What's the most asked question? Oh, that's a hard one. Maybe about the singers, you know.
Okay. And can you answer this question by telling us something you've never said before?
Okay, that's hard. Well, I really hated that one singer, you know, he's an asshole. No.
I want a name.
Yeah, that's why I won't tell you. He will get me. No, I never had problems with singers.
Okay.
You know, it's always, I'm a big fan of them, and they're very proud that I asked them, so we always have a great time. So, no, basically I always say what I think, but I try to be tactic, you know, try not to slag people off, because especially when, you know, with Ayreon I have to work with a lot of musicians, so if I talk bad about people, I'll be out of business. It'll be my last Ayreon now.
And did you ever work with someone that you maybe didn't like, or, you know?
Well, I had never had singers that I really didn't like.
Okay.
But I had like problems with people not being able to sing stuff, and it has happened that I didn't use things, you know, that we were really working on things and it just didn't work out. But you know, you just work together for 2 days, so it's really hard to get into a fight, you know, within 1 or 2 days. So no, basically no horror stories there, sorry.
No problem. Have you ever dropped a character after the artist you had in mind for such character, or refused to portray him then?
You mean that someone I asked didn't like the role I had for him?
I mean, someone that refused to sing on your album.
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah.
And did you drop the character, or?
Oh no, I worked the other way around. So I first write all the music, then I look for the singers, and then I write the lyrics on the singers. So for instance, the previous album, I had like the main character me, and then I had all the emotions playing rage and fear, and then it wasn't like I had a part called rage and I had to look for a singer for that. No, it was I could get Devin Townsend, so I thought, what would he play? He would play rage. So I especially write the parts and the lyrics on the singers.
Okay. And do your guests often have a say in your albums? Like, for example, Devin Townsend for the last album?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's very important. If they say, like, we want to make our own melodies, or we want to make our own lyrics, and I think they will do a better job than me, I will say, yeah, sure, of course. If it gets better, of course I will do it.
And did this happen on this album?
On this album, yeah. Jonas of Catatonia, he said, you know, I'm a bit afraid of people singing other people's melodies. Could I make my own melodies? Then I said, okay, we'll do it 50-50. You got about 6 or 7 songs. You make 4 and I make 3. And that's where we have the balance. And I had to say that the parts he wrote for himself are brilliant. I couldn't have done it better. And the same on this album was with Anneke. because from the gathering, Anneke Giersberg. She also made her own melodies on Electric Castle, and she did a great job there. So this time I asked her to make, I think of the 7 songs she does, 2 songs are songs with her melodies.
Okay.
So.
And who would you particularly like to work with? A person that you never worked before,
Yeah.
and that your dream you would.
My all-time hero is Alice Cooper. I mean, I grew up with him, and he's got everything in him. He's a great songwriter. He's a great person, I think, and he's very comic, you know, and he's very scary as well. And I just like everything about him. So that's my childhood hero.
And have you ever contacted him? Or
I try each time, and I
really each time on every album?
Every album I try. Yeah. But it's via, you know, because he's like a big star, so you can't just call him up, hey Alice, you know. That's not the way it goes. It's usually via his managers, and in the end, I don't know if he ever heard it, because you don't hear anything back. So I have no idea. Maybe he never heard it, or maybe he's like, it's not for me, or whatever. So.
Okay, your latest album to date, The Human Equation,
Yeah.
was very different in its concept from your previous album.
That's right.
With this album you moved away from the usual fantastic science fiction stories. Were you simply tired of them, or did you realize that it was becoming more and more common?
Yeah, I like, with each album I like to do something different with Ayreon, you know. And either it's the musicians, you know, or it's the music, more electronic or more bombastic, or it's like with the Universal Migrator when I did a soft album and a heavy album, you know, that was different. And with Human Equation I wanted to do something different again. And then I thought, wouldn't it be fun not to do science fiction? And that way I would enter a new chapter. And also I got the story of a man in a coma with his emotions fighting in his head, you know, and the emotions portrayed by singer. I love that idea. So in a way it's still kind of fantasy, you know, and in the end it appears to be like a computer program after all.
At the end of the
in the end it's science fiction after all. So but now for this album I really liked to go back to science fiction, you know, because that's where my heart lies. From the first time I saw Star Trek, it was so